This is about how to use our brain. And also how to use our computer because they are analogous, very similar. But I think I want to share something anyway. I had this problem of MacBook Air. I had 2015 and it worked fine, but then I used the newer one, 2022. I thought I was buying 2023, but I got the 2022 at the big buy. Anyway, I didn't bother something like that, but it's unfortunate. But anyway, I have more trouble than ever. Previously, I had this 2015 I used for 10 years almost, right? And everything's working fine because I'm used to it. And usually, like anything else, I don't want to confuse myself by adding more things. So simplify, combine, eliminate. That's the way. But because of the new Mac, lots of stories start to happen. And because of the different application interface, use the iCloud, and I have two computers and iPhones, so I maneuver things. And this old one start to make lots of mistakes. Sorry to take time, but the bottom line is that you ask Gemini, Google Gemini, they give you answer, and there are so many list of things to do, and I said no, I can't do that. And at the end, I usually take the pragmatic approach of giving up or do some minimum level of application, which is annoying, but it's much less annoying than going through all the setup, at least in my case. So what I see overall is that the world is shifting in such a degree that everything is moving forward and different program, different application, and there's an interface issue. Like in the organization, department A, B, and C, they're busy what they do, they don't connect to B and C. So my emphasis is always don't think only top and down and do things and forget about the customers and suppliers, but have the understanding of that and manage your life accordingly, or the company or mini company accordingly. They don't do it, and that's why the barrier get developed and no communication end up in the reason of things not get processed right and lots of waste and all of that. And the same thing with this situation, that application A, B, C, they don't communicate, and there's a computer A and X, and they don't communicate. They use iCloud, but they have to do some cleaning up the, cache and whatever, I don't know. Anyway, so the way pragmatic approach is, instead of getting lost, and because I don't like to be used, I want to use the computer. I want to use my brain, not to be used. That's a good way to say it, to make the point. Sorry to take time to get here. So what's the way? I usually, if there's a problem, I look for the solution. It goes back, it doesn't help, back, and find the best solution. And to make sure that I don't get into trap later, which is not easy, but what it brings out to is to not to be used by whatever is happening out there. And you have to keep up with it. And all the companies and the people in the company, they just keep up with it. That's their job. But if we keep doing it and it's going on, this computer and all the stuff going on, okay, there may be a promise that AI can help. But be careful. All the technology and the promise and what you do can create additional problem elsewhere, especially not the one doing the job and at the top and getting paid, but the ones working underneath to play with it, and or the customers who use that and happen this and that. And I see so many examples. Just a few days ago, someone said that they buy refrigerator or some kitchen equipment, and these days you cannot just fix one. If you want to fix one, you have to fix the whole package or something, because that's how they manufacture things. So it may be cheap on surface, but it may end up in having problem if something some little part is missing, you cannot just replace it. Maybe the car is the same. So I use the old car. When it works, I just keep on it, like this computer for 10 years. But I have to live with it. So I have been to be improvising it. That's the name of the game. It requires not to play their game, but my own game, your own game. So what I do? Forget it. Search, think, try, doesn't work, try this and that. If you really have to, you have to delve into it, dig into it. But if not, I look for other alternative so that I can unhook myself to be used by the system, but use the system. So when you go back that logic all the way to the source of it, how to clarify things is to be with the way of nature. You understand? Because the way of nature created us to use the brain, and we start to use the brain to confuse ourselves, to play with the brain, get into the level of the brains playing ourselves, and then we had the machine of playing with that process. It's not laughing matter, because in the meantime, we lose the touch, reality, feel of living life. So it's all of us to have the ownership and initiative to not go with such a flow of how things happen. And that's unconventional. If other people are using and they say, this is wonderful, you hire this guy, you hire that guy, there's an industry to go through that. But it's not, in my view, in the direction of self-sufficiency and self-managing, because you are playing their game. They set up the world for you to play. I'm right, voice goes up here. The world is setting up by themselves, so the people with the ideas and all that stuff. And that keep on going and going. The interface issue, understanding, clarity, the balance of it, and all that can be lost. And then we are just like a chicken without egg. I guess that's the expression some Mexican guy told me, that running around. I've never seen that happening, but without the brain, the chicken run around, I guess. I don't know how they do that. But that's what happens. So we have to get to the state where the brain and the connection of the brain and body is intact without getting confused, to be in the dangerous zone, to be head cut and get confused and upset and don't know what's going on anymore. You get lost in your mind. So this is the thing. I was thinking about, well, let's not go there, but let me tell you, because I start to say, thinking about explaining how to deal with it. But that explaining itself is like a new software that I don't want to bring people to be consumed by it. You understand? So, concise idea to the point, in line to that logic, instead of adding something, but something added to you get lost, this branch, that branch, and you don't know where the root is anymore, and you don't know who you are anymore. I was talking about the sunrise and the moon setting behind the mountain, and there's a communication. There's no more communication, me and outside world, but only me within the brain, and within the brain is all the running around the chicken. In the meantime, the bird, the clean air, and the refrigerator that doesn't break, or you can fix it, and the cut is so wonderful that, any of that, because everything is wonderful according to the theory. And then we are kind of the bubbles, floating on the surface of ocean, building a bubble over bubble in the mind. And it's going to pop. It's popping. In the meantime, we get swimming in there and getting lost and not having time to watch the sunrise and the moon setting over the mountain and listening to the bird. But maybe like you, me talking and you listening. Maybe that shouldn't exist, right? Because we need to be wise to self-sustaining and make the best of our life that doesn't disturb others, but help each other and communicate. Communicate with the bird in principle to appreciate, not alienating, and bird just taking the picture or some such thing. The flowers for the sake of the guests coming and they look nice. It's not that. We have to have that genuine source within us. And if we lose that, it's all fake. It's fake added on the fake, bubbles added on the bubbles. And what's down below is disconnected. So I may have added more bubbles in your bubbles, the thinking, and that's not the point. Take out the thinking. Go back to the root of where we feel vibrant, living, connected to the ground, not getting lost in the mind. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm saying this. So, but something triggered me to say this. But for now, let's be like that. Let's have the silence take over, not the brain to take over, and go back to the root. And if we keep having that discipline back to the root with the samadhi, no mind, to settle, calm water, not the bubbles and the waves, ripples, and transparency. With that, and having that discipline, I think we can do all right. We should. And fly like a bird, and the tree like the tree, and the human like the being genuine human. Be sincere and truthful. I'm not joking. Well, I may be. You better think about it. Thank you.